Hey, friends. Welcome to the Self-Love Strong podcast. Today, we're joined by Deion Wells-Ross, founder and CEO of Ento Dynamics. Deion is a former Division III national champion athlete whose life took an unexpected turn when he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Rather than letting this define him, Deion harnessed his inner strength to create the Inner Advantage, an 8-week transformational program designed to help individuals love themselves more and live on the edge of their potential. Through Ento Dynamics, he integrates strength-based development, AI, and coaching to guide individuals towards peak performance. Deion, welcome to the show. I'm so excited you're here.
No, Sam, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Man, Deion, you have truly a powerful message right off the bat. Can you share the moment when your MS diagnosis shifted from being a setback to becoming the driving force in your life?
Really good question. We're starting off strong. I love it. So I'll say that being diagnosed with MS was one of the worst things, but also one of the best things that has ever happened to me, which is like a massive paradox. When I first got the news, I'll never forget the neurologist came in and he said, "I'm sorry to tell you this, but you have MS." And immediately it's like my heart just dropped. I was like, "What did you just say to me, bro?" So to be frank, I cried for 16 hours straight. Like I cried way more than I cared to admit. But that next day, I finally just accepted it and said, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do to change this. I have a disability. I have this autoimmune disease, and it's going to be with me for the rest of my life. So in that moment, I thought about it. I said, this can be my exit. Most people give up and they think their life is over. But for me, I viewed it as it's an entrance to get to the edge of my potential. So now I live on the edge. Not that it was like a near-death experience, but it was definitely one of those life-changing things where you just value life and look at things in such a different way.
Man, such a truly powerful story. I'm just imagining going through those emotions. Somebody who's, like you said, a D3, you're a national champion, to get that diagnosis at probably a peak point of your life. What mental adjustments did you make to view adversity as an advantage?
Yeah, good question. I think we'll roll the tapes back a little bit. So winning a national championship absolutely changed everything for me. I grew up really inner city. Most inner city kids want to play basketball. I thought I was going to go to the NBA or at least play pro somewhere. After we won, we flew from Salem, Virginia back to Lincoln, Nebraska, two really small airports, right? And on that flight, it was super emotional for me because I had this sense of satisfaction, meaning I was like, I don't want to play basketball anymore. I'm good. I think my life is bigger and better. So I had given up on the hoop dreams. Fast forward a few years, I had no idea I would be diagnosed with MS. So it wouldn't have worked out anyway. I can't run. I can't jump. I'll never play another game of basketball in my life. But it ended the best way possible. But before that, Sam, I played at this university called Midland University. I had a coach that literally told me I sucked, wasn't good enough to play basketball. So took a massive risk, quit his team, adversity, right? And that taught me like, yeah, when things get tough, that's when you should lean in more. Because 2 years later, I went on to lead a team to a national championship, right? So it's like when you're going through something difficult, you never embrace it or you never think there's anything good. But it's always in hindsight, the puzzle pieces start to fit together. Like that moment when that coach told me I wasn't good enough, I decided that's the last time anyone would ever tell me I'm not good enough. And I still hold true to this. And that's why I'm so motivated. That's why I'm so driven. So that was kind of a major turning point in my life. And not to be too long-winded, I created this equation. It's called the adversity equation. E plus P equals R. Experiences plus perspective equals results. Experiences can be positive and negative. They will be. It's just the way of life, right? We all have good things that happen to us. We all have bad things. Perspective can be positive or negative, and that's what separates people, right? Oh, this is the worst thing that happened to me. My life is over. You're going to have bad results if that's your mindset. On the other side, if you're like, well, this sucks, but I'm going to get through it, it's going to make me stronger, or this is going to be a story I can use to help people at a later time, positive results. So,
Man, that is so powerful. Uh, I really love how you said that, Dion, because I think it's such a powerful message in itself. You talked about, how really our perspective shapes our results. I think many times we are taking other people's perspectives. Like, we go through a challenge, like you said, you could have taken that coach's word for it, but you decided to choose your own perspective. And I think many times we give that power away just because that coach couldn't see your possibility, but you saw it, and that really changed your life. That's so awesome.
absolutely. And I love what you said. Sometimes we allow other people to kind of build our ceilings or our limits, and we take that as truth. The reality is it's just their perspective. And if someone says you're not good enough, or maybe you grew up in the inner city and you're not supposed to be a CEO or a doctor, it's just not the environment you grew up in. So what? That doesn't mean you can't be what you dream of. So
Man, that is so awesome, man. So, how did your self perception evolve past the diagnosis, and how did it influence your mission?
yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is you mentioned strength based. I really had to focus on my greatest ability, not my disability. So there are a few different assessments that I love. One is called the VIA, Via Character Strengths. Another one is called the Clifton Strengths. I don't know if you've heard of those or one of those, but they're assessments that focus on what you naturally do best, right? Every single person has talent, but everyone's talents are different. And that's what's amazing about these tools. It's like, what do you do that's great? So, Sam, what makes you phenomenal and what gives you superpowers is different from me. So that has been the root of everything. Getting to your question, it changed my mission. It made me stop asking for permission. I've always said I'm going to be successful. I want to be great. I'm going to take a moonshot. It was easy to find excuses, but the diagnosis made life so real. I was like, I'll fail. I'll keep going. I'll keep pushing. And in a way, it made me invincible. Like I was talking to Chat GPT. I'm sure we'll talk about AI at some point, but it said, what can stop you at this point? And I was like, death. That's it, literally, right? You face something like MS, knowing like the left side of my body does not work. You can't see it, but I'm wearing a medical device. So I literally can't run, can't jump. So that forced me to get to my edge. And well, I don't know, maybe we'll talk about financial well-being and loving yourself as well. The traditional financial plan just doesn't work for me. If you think about retirement age is 69 and a half, 70. I'm like, man, I'm 30 right now. I already have a disability. It's only going to get worse, or maybe it will stay the same. Why should I wait until I'm 70 to enjoy my life, right? So all of these different things kind of played into my mission and my drive.
Man, I love that. And I love, like you were really talking about, we're all at different stages in life, but I really love those strength finders. I think many times we're always trying to, I love how you really talked about focusing on your strengths. I think many times people always make you focus on your weaknesses and tell you to get better at your weaknesses. I've only heard the Clifton Strength Finder, but what would you say is the difference between those two strength finders that you had mentioned?
Absolutely. One thing I'll say is we live in a deficit-based mindset world. If you think about grade school, hey, you have an F in science or you have a D in math, improve those. Instead of you had a B in art or you have a B in music, how can you improve there? Um, I won't go down that rabbit hole too long, but the difference this is what my business is built on. The Clifton strengths are very much so about how you work. So my top strengths are futuristic, ideation, strategic, achiever, and intellection. It tells me I'm a strategic thinker. That's the dominant domain for me. So when I'm at my best, I need to be in my thoughts, thinking, doing something strategic, right? The BIA character strengths are more about why you see the world the way you do and why you operate the way you do. So, like, my top strength is humor. Had no idea this was a strength, but then I learned that and I started replaying my life. It's like, yeah, when I'm facilitating courses, people find me funny. When I'm in a very intense situation, I make people laugh. It's just who I am, right? So you can see when you put those two things together, why I operate the way I do and how I work best. It's really powerful. And that's why our program is called the Inner Advantage. Everything you need to be successful is already inside of you. People just need a coach to kind of extract it and pull it out.
Man, I really love that. I really love how you took that system and brought those together. So, what inspires you to develop that inner advantage? And what core principles does it encompass?
Yeah, I love that. What really inspired me to do it was my life experience. Having a coach tell me like I suck and I'm not good enough played into that. As much as I can't stand him, I also have to give him gratitude because it took someone doubting me and telling me I suck to light a fire in me. So I just want as many
Mm,
people as possible to get to their best. Sam, years ago, I read something that said the richest place in the world is the graveyard. And it made me stop and say, what? Like, how could that be?
yeah.
And then it went on to talk about how so many people take their potential to the grave.
Wow.
And it's like, I want to help people break that. We all only get one life. Sam, what you can offer to the world is going to be different than me or anyone else that will ever live. So it's like, why hold it back? And that's why I love your podcast. So many people have ideas, but they're afraid to take action. And that's why our thing is helping people get to that edge, living out their potential. It's this program or my business is rooted in what's called the performance flywheel. Really simple.
Yeah.
Why, how, where. Why do you do what you do? The via character strengths. How? There are two different assessments we use. The Clifton strengths. We also use an assessment we built. It's called the innate performance driver. And then the where always comes down to the person. Where do you want to aim your talent? Is it being a better
Mm.
spouse, a better parent, a better entrepreneur, a better podcaster? So the where really comes down to the person.
Man, that is such a powerful system. I think many times, I got to be honest, I took the Clifton Strength Finder, but I didn't really, I love how you really talked about where do you want to focus yourself. Because I think many times we're like, yay, I found my strengths, but I don't really know where I want to focus my strengths at. So I really love how your program points you in the direction that you want to go. And that's a choice that you get to
Mhm.
make.
Yeah, no, that's I think that's what makes us unique, but sometimes we just need people, a coach or AI to ask those questions like where do you want to aim it? What are your goals? So,
I love that. I love that. So, how does the program facilitate that deeper sense of self appreciation among the people who kind of work with it?
yeah, AI has been pivotal. So I'll start by saying if you think back to the internet in the early 2000s, the internet was so new, it was so exciting, everyone loved it, right? I was too young. I'm 30, so I was 5 years old in 2000. I didn't have that opportunity to take advantage of the internet. Some people loved writing emails. Some people built e-commerce companies like Amazon. Some people went on to found Apple and Facebook, right? We have that same opportunity right now with AI. The sky's the limit. We don't really know how people are going to use it. So, in our program, we're using AI for self-development. A lot of times people think it's all about, oh, I can write emails now, I can automate my task. We go to that next level where we focus on development. So we can take your top 5 strengths, top 10 strengths, and say, hey, how can I use my strengths to be a better spouse? You'll get a lot of feedback or a lot of good insights. For me, I started with what are the key characteristics of a founder when it comes to a startup? I read it and I'm like, I check every single one of these boxes. Then I said, these are my top 5 via character strengths. How do these apply? These are my top 5 Clifton strengths. How do these apply? And you put them together and you can just see how it's just grown and compounded. So we use AI to really help people discover who they are, what they do. We actually have a prompt. It's way too long to talk about, but it will dive into your communication style, your areas of opportunities, potential weaknesses. It just goes so deep. It is almost painful how much AI will tell you about yourself, but it's stuff everyone needs to hear, and it's customized to you. It's not what someone thinks. It's really about your behavior, your responses, your strengths, and how you have used it. So,
Wow, I love how you talked about how you integrated AI and that it can be an assistant to you. I think many times, like, I mean, wow. I think we have so many questions and we have so many I didn't realize that technology can take it to that next level of really getting that deep work and answering some of those questions. And it sounds like it's removing some of the guesswork that we all have when we're transitioning into new things.
you are spot on. And a lot of times people think it's going to replace humans, specifically if you're a coach. But I always frame it up this way. If you don't know how to swim, you've never swam before, you can get on ChatGPT, you can ask any AI, hey, how do I swim? It's going to give you the information and the strategies. But does that mean you should just go jump into the deep end of a pool without a coach or a lifeguard, right? Absolutely not. So it's a tool to help you, but you still need a coach or someone that can sit there and listen and give you the human interaction. So it's a tool that supports us. It's going to accelerate the way we grow and develop, but it's not going to replace humans.
Man, I really love that analogy. I think that's so true because I've probably just barely scratched the surface of AI, but I really love like when it comes to AI for me, I've always been a person of, and it's really allowed me to take those thoughts and put them into a place and really organize them. Or like, you bring those ideas, you give it to AI, and it's like, oh, this is, it's awesome. I really love, like you said, I think it's an amazing tool, and it's going to allow people, I believe, to have a voice that never had a voice before.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
So, can you discuss how your program aids individuals in building their resilience against life challenges? Like like it's kind of helping people remove that guesswork. You talked about how the program, how does it really help individuals in a way?
Yeah. So there are different, I'll say chapters, probably sections. There are different sections in the program. Like one is leadership development. How can you use your strengths to be a better leader? And then we actually give people situations or prompts. How would you respond to 2 team members having a conflict, right? Another one of the sections is actually adversity. How do you overcome adversity? I just shared the adversity equation. Sam, it's so powerful when you look at your strengths and think about how can I use my strengths to overcome adversity? I'll
Mhm.
give you a very real example. And there are actually parallels between the two assessments. So, with the via character strengths, my third strength is hope, meaning I'm always optimistic about the future. My number one Clifton strength is futuristic, always positive or optimistic about the
Yeah.
future. And when I was lying in the hospital bed, freshly diagnosed with MS, so sad, I was crying an ocean of tears. It was just me. My wife couldn't be there. My cell phone was dead. And plus, I couldn't even hold it. I lost full function of this hand. And something hit me. And I just remember my top strengths. And I leaned into those. I promise you, it felt like I time traveled. So in the moment, I was down, but I went so far into the future. It felt real. It was like this twilight experience. And I saw myself doing what I'm doing now, building a business, being a keynote speaker, and telling my story to the masses. So you wonder, like, why I'm so passionate, why I have this fire. I can point back to the worst or the lowest point of my life and how my strengths help me overcome that. So we give everyone the opportunity to think about, what are you going through? How can you leverage this adversity as a catalyst? And how can your strengths, what you naturally do best, support you?
Man, that is so powerful. I really love that, how, you can really have that assessment and really get that clarity in your strengths. I think, like you said, instead of removing the guesswork, we can use AI to help us build that roadmap to where we really want to go and establish those ways to show it best. That's so awesome.
Mhm.
So could you share a transformative experience that, from someone that's possibly completed your program?
Yeah, yeah. I actually have a friend that's going through it right now.
Okay.
She's going through some I'll just say career and life changes.
Yeah.
No company is immune from like layoffs and stuff, but just
Yeah.
helping her realize, yeah, that chapter closed, but now you have the opportunity to do what you naturally do best. And her strengths have really helped her think through, what do I want to do? I'll use a very specific example. So the assessment we built is called the innate performance driver. It's about what type of environment do I work best in? She was surprised. She thought, oh, I thought I would be more of a precisionist, meaning I love the day to day. Everything is the same. I'm very precise. I'm detail oriented. The program and this assessment helped her realize I'm detail oriented, but I don't like doing the same thing every single day. So that's why that wasn't her innate performance driver. And she realized I get energy from talking to people, meeting people, being client facing. So it was a massive paradigm shift for her just to realize this is what gives me energy. And I always tell people it's kind of clues. Think about when you do something, when do you get in that state of flow? When do you lose
Mm.
track of time? When do you get the most energy? And then the other side, when do you feel drained? So, like for me, I hate being at a computer all day, every day, doing like spreadsheets and like data entry. Not my thing. I'm horrible at it, right? So, I will never go into that line of work. If I could meet with people like you every day, all day, Sam, I would do it. This is like what I love to do. So,
Man, I love that how you really made that, help people find clarity. I think so many times we're not only not asking enough questions, but we're assuming we know. And I love what you said right there in that situation. Like, she's like, I would thrive in this situation, but she found clarity, but through your system, and it showed her like, that thing that you thought was actually where you would fit in was actually stealing your energy. And I think that's
mm,
so awesome that you are able to find that, because I think many of us are wondering, we're at this place, we got there, and we think that this is going to be the best, Dion. This is the best place where I need to be at. But it's actually draining me. And I love how you talked about really noticing those cues, I think we're not so much aware of how our environment is impacting us, but I love how your system is allowed to show us that at the same time.
Yeah, and it's really to help people understand themselves. Self-awareness, self-love are really synonymous. They go hand in hand. If you want to love yourself, you have to be aware of who you are, how you work best, and what environment is conducive to you being your best.
Yes, man, such a powerful mission. I'm so glad you're on it and you're doing it. So I would love to hear, what is the mission behind Into Dynamics and how does it differentiate itself into the realm of human development?
Yeah, I love that question. So first off, into means inner in Greek. So inner dynamics, it all
Yeah.
maps back to that one thing. You are super powerful based off of what you have inside of you. So we look at your inner dynamics to help you become the best version of yourself and figure out where you want to aim your talent. So that's the basis of our company. That's what we're rooted in and on. I am a firm believer. One of our core values is status quo elimination. I hate the status quo. And it's like you think about a corporate job. This is your job. This is what you should do. This is how you should do it. And they put you into a box. We don't believe life should be that way. It should
Mm,
be the other way. Who are you? What are your talents? What would make your life great? How can we apply that to our company or to our role? So we've really reversed it. The other side of it, Sam, we are the pioneers for this AI based development. A lot of companies are like, yeah, we're super innovative. We used AI. You say, how are you using it? Oh, we write emails. And it's like, that's not innovation, you know? So we're taking it to that next level and really helping people grow and develop. Another part of our business, Sam, we built what is called educational reality. So I'm a speaker, man. I'm a professional speaker. It's what I love to do. What separates us is you think about you might see a great keynote speaker, but what happens after that? Nothing, right?
mm,
Well, educational reality is focused on after the keynote speaking, you come into our ecosystem and we give you a workbook, digital courses, the AI prompt. So you really get to discover your talent. So, for
mm.
example, one of our keynotes is called Architecting the Future of Leadership. Well, it's a 1 hour session. I'll deliver the talk, have a lot of powerful stories. I love engaging audiences, but that's just the beginning. After is where the real magic happens when we're teaching you about your strengths, we're giving you the frameworks, telling you what questions to ask AI. And then it's highly personalized to you. So again, that's just scraping the surface. We're doing a lot of amazing, revolutionary stuff.
Man, that is powerful in itself. I love how, I really love how you flip the script on that system, like you said, because I think that's like you said, the goal is for any corporate job is to fit into their parameters. But I love how you flipped the script and said, hey, how can I make this fit my parameters?
Hmm.
That's a question that we've all been giving that power away when it comes to jobs and passion because we're always trying to fit in someone else's box. It's one of the greatest human needs is to feel acceptance, right? So I love how
Right.
you're talking about finding acceptance on your terms. That's so awesome.
For sure. And that's why I hate resumes. I feel like they put people in a box, like you're gonna really break me down to one piece of paper. Like we've been going for about 30 minutes, Sam. And it's like, yeah, you look at my resume, would you get all this information? Absolutely not, right?
Yes, you're so true. I think that's so powerful in your story and itself. So I know you talked a little bit about how you incorporate the AI, but how do you incorporate AI into the coaching and the development strategies? I know you said it's personal, it asks personal questions as well, but just can you go a little bit more in depth if you don't mind?
Oh, absolutely. So, from a development perspective, we give people the guided prompts around AI. One of the misconceptions or I'll just say one of the fallacies people have with AI. They think all AI is the same, but really it's garbage in, garbage out. The smarter you are, the better questions you ask, the better responses you'll get. You cannot outsmart AI. Believe me, I've tried, and I haven't been able to do it yet. So we give people the questions, the scripts, the prompts, and these are all, I'll say, well tested, and we're constantly refining it. I've actually never shared this, Sam, but so when people go through our program, we send out a survey after to collect data. We are building a massive database on development and AI. No one else doing this, and that's kind of the secret to our business, right? So we're ahead of the curve. We're going to continue to collect data and insights on how to refine the program. The other thing that kind of I'll say makes us unique. So I'm the founder of the company. The co-founder is ChatGPT. And that sounds so crazy. It sounds bizarre. But think about this. All of these frameworks, all of these strategies, AI has been the co-creator. So I took my original ideas, put them in the chat GPT, it made them better, and then I added my own touch to that. So we've been collaborating back and forth. I paid $20 a month for chat GPT, infinite wisdom, 24-hour access. It knows everything for the most part. Where else can you get that from a person or an employee? You cannot, right? So it's helped me build all of these things. It's helped me find the right software. I talked about the assessment I built. Um, when it first recommended I build my own assessment, I said, me? Like, I'm not a researcher. I don't build assessments. And it listed all these different things. You've done X, Y, and Z. You've spoken to this person. You've built all of these things. You can build your own assessment. And it said, this is where you start. And then from there, it's just like I built my own assessment that's working. So,
Wow, that is so awesome. And I love that. I really love that because like you said, it's, and I'm imagining if we didn't have ChatGPT, how many libraries you would have had to go to, maybe how many courses you would have had to pay for. But to have all those resources at the palm of your hands, like you said, all the right questions. But I love how it even hyped you up to make your own course. So awesome.
yeah, I know. And that's a part of development when you're having doubts. Sometimes you just need verbal affirmation or like a different perspective. It's all right here at the in the palm of your hand or at the your fingertips, like Chat GPT. It's I don't want to say the great equalizer because not everyone uses it the same, but you don't have an excuse to not be great or to really understand yourself. So
Man, I love that. I love how you're using it. So, why is the focus on individual strengths critical in your methodology?
yeah, it's because every single person is unique. I hate
Mm,
like cookie cutter or taking such broad strokes and categorizing people. So we really focus
mm,
on the individual. Every single person has talent. It just shows up differently. We have different strengths and different things that make us great. Like what motivates you may not motivate me, Sam, and then vice versa, right? The other part of our business is team dynamics. So we look at the individual, but also what happens when we look at everyone's strengths together? What data can we collect? This is what this team is great at. Here are potential blind spots. Here's how you can work together to create a more cohesive team. Think about what that does for a leader when I can sit down with the leader and say, hey, these are your team's top 5 strengths. They have a bias towards execution. They'd love to get stuff done. Just the insights and the conversations a leader has, they know how to press the hot buttons on their team members, how to motivate people, how to make everyone work together cohesively. So it's super powerful, but you have to start with the individual.
Man, that is so awesome. Like, to think that we could get to that point of just in technology and mixing it with, like you said, leadership of how to mesh different people together. But I really love how you focus on the individual. I think it's many times where when we come, the hardest person to work on is ourselves. And the fact that we can have a guide along the way, but more so asking the right questions to get us there, I think is so awesome.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, what advancements do you foresee in the future, with the intersection of AI and personal development?
Oh, I love that question. Futuristic number one. So when you talk about the future, I get excited. I always say start with the end in mind. So
Mm,
long term, I'm going to build a conglomerate, and we're going to disrupt the real estate and banking system. I can't get into detail, but AI and technology is going to play into that. But the human development is going to reshape and change the way the world operates. I think it's going to change middle school, high school, elementary school, and just reshape the way we view things and the way people learn and develop. But also relationships. These are my wife's strengths. These are my strengths. I'll use a real example. One of my wife's top strengths is appreciation of beauty and excellence. It's dead last for me. It helps me understand why she absolutely loves like gardening and flowers and plants. Not that I don't think it's cool, but I don't love that stuff. It doesn't get me excited like it does for her. Now I know why. That's one of her strengths, right? She loves to see flowers grow, to plant it, and she gets so excited when it buds. For me, I'm like, I don't, doesn't excite me, right? So just imagine what happens when you take that type of awareness into schools, the workplace, etc.
Man, Dion, that sounds so powerful because I really love what you said, like, when it comes to education and relationships, like I imagine a world like, I got to be honest, when I was in school, I was in special education, but it's because I didn't fit in their program. But I think about
Mm,
what you said there. Imagine going to a classroom and everybody knowing, not having the same cookie cutter, but because they realize that we can all learn in the same environment, but it's going to be tailor fitted to you. Wow. When you said that when it came to education, I'm like, that just makes sense.
mm. Well, first of all, thanks for us sharing that. I know it takes some braveness and really some strength to say that. So thank you for sharing that. But the other part, absolutely. I've had clients say I'm neurospicy, so it's not that I can't learn, it's just I learn differently than most people. So why do we not respect that and support them? Instead, we have this like blanket standardized testing, which is, I don't know, I won't get started on that. I'm not a fan of like those types of tests because what does it really teach you? Like who has the best memory? So
You're right, man. But man, the cheat code on understanding your spouse would be the greatest thing to have.
I'm still trying to figure that one out. So I'll report back on that.
Well, man, Dion, your message is powerful and the work you're doing is powerful. So if I know what all the listeners are wondering. How do we stay in contact with Dion?
Yeah. So the best way would be Instagram or LinkedIn. You can just type in my name, Deion Wells-Ross. I'll come up. I am a content creator, so I post a lot of free content about AI development and really whatever comes to mind. So a lot of free stuff. Also, if you want to go through the Inner Advantage program, I am offering it for free. You have to buy your own strengths assessment. I won't pay for that. It's like $20, $30, depending on which one you buy. And I'll get you in the program for free. I just really want to see people grow and develop.
Whoo, wow, you guys. Well, hey, you heard it right there, you guys. I'm going to make it super simple for you to stay in contact with Deion. I'm going to put all of his links under this episode, all of his socials. I think he has Instagram, his LinkedIn, and we're going to put his website under there as well. And take advantage of that opportunity. I mean, I thought about if I imagine removing the guesswork about where your strengths are, but most importantly, having someone to guide you along the way that's doing this very thing. So make sure you don't make this the last time you hear from Deion. But Deion, if you had a message for people listening to this of inspiration, what would you want to leave them with?
Yeah, I'll leave you all with this. Impossible is a state of mind. Just because you think it doesn't mean it really is impossible. Anything is possible within reason. Don't jump off a building and say you can fly. But if you have if you have dreams and aspirations, chase them, get to the edge of your potential. We shared so much knowledge, so many gems in this episode. Take advantage of it, learn your strengths, and know impossible is only a state of mind.
Whoo, man, that is powerful. So like I said, you guys, make sure you click on all those links. And make sure you follow him on all of his socials. Take a screenshot, DM him. Thank you for sharing so much knowledge. And I just have an excitement for the future with what Deion's doing and making sure you are a part of his mission. So join him on that. Take advantage of that opportunity to not only identify your strengths, but have someone to guide you along the way. Take care, friends.